Yo, what's going on, fellas? It's your main man, Six Paths Dunga, back again with yet another video. So what we're going to talk about today is something that a lot of people have been talking about for at least a couple of years now. So the topic of this video goes even beyond the beginning of Two Blue Vortex. I actually don't know why I haven't talked about it in such a long time. Even though I do have a very logical explanation on the topic, I just let you all have your fun before I have to sadly rain on everyone's parade. I hate to be that guy, but it has to be done. So before we hop into the video today, let me just take this quick minute to ask for you guys to drop a like on the video. Of course, not everyone has to do it, but it's just one of those random acts of kindness that people do to make other people's day better. You know what I mean? So if you could do that for me, I would be very appreciative. But anyway, I won't hold us up any longer. Let's just hop into the video. So I guess I'll just start by explaining the biggest problem I have with the community. Some of us just don't know when to move on. I understand the attachment to certain nostalgic characters, especially since we all grew up with these guys. I even made a video going over why I think Naruto is special, and the main reason was because of nostalgia. Actually, that's a throwback video, and it probably doesn't have that many views either. So if you want, be sure to check out that video. But that was one of the first videos I ever made on this channel, so the editing is probably not that good. So be warned. But anyway, it's like this for a lot of old Naruto fans. Probably not so much for my younger viewers, but speaking for my older fellas, it's a feeling of nostalgia when we look at these characters. So there's always gonna be a sense of that feeling when talking about them. But just being objective here, the reason why what happened to Naruto and Sasuke happened to them isn't just by pure coincidence. It's a message to us fans, and also a message to Boruto as well as the rest of the younger generation of Konoha Shinobi. It's simply time to step up. At first, Ikimoto simply diminished Naruto and Sasuke's role in the story. By him killing Kurama off, I guess this nerfs Naruto just enough so he wouldn't be able to handle the rest of the threats that will plague the ninja world later on. And without Naruto, this would put the necessary pressure on other characters not named the older generation of Konoha to hurry up and get stronger to be able to counter these upcoming threats. So characters like Sarada, Mitsuki, KAWAKI, Boruto, Inojin, Shikadai, Chocho, you know, the list goes on. The overall goal of the story going into the time skip was to remove Naruto and Sasuke's presence in the story to completely focus on the story and development of the new main characters. And I guess since the time skip happened, we have to add Himawari in that mix as well. So if I didn't mention her before, she's definitely in that mix. I apologize for that. However, even though this is how Ikimoto wanted the story to go, sometimes I do feel how Ikimoto went about things like this could have been better. I mean, I do love how he technically sent Naruto off. I absolutely adore Baryon mode. That's not what I'm talking about here. I'm more or less talking about how right after Naruto lost Kurama, Ikimoto wasted no time giving Sasuke the same treatment too. Like it happened in the same fight. He didn't just gently nudge Naruto and Sasuke out the story. He shoved them out and just shut the door. He kind of did Sasuke dirty now thinking about it. Because when you think of these two characters, they're both a clear 1A and 1B. I don't feel that one is significantly better than the other when it comes to impact in their respective roles. But with that being said, the fact that Naruto got such a grand finale and Sasuke didn't, that really disappointed me. Because I see concept art all the time of different abilities for Sasuke, concepts Ikimoto can implement into the story as kind of like a Baryon mode transformation, but for Sasuke, and just not as strong. And to be honest, I know a lot of people feel the same way. Actually, now thinking about it, some of the hate that Boruto gets is because the past characters either got completely removed from the story, or they got too much of a diminished role in the series. But I don't really feel the same way as those people. I knew most characters just weren't going to be given a role in the series. You can't give every older character a role in the story and just have it work, because it's not Naruto. And the sooner people realize that, the sooner we can start having honest and progressive conversations. Now back to Naruto and Sasuke. In Two Blue Vortex, Ikimoto decided to not only diminish their roles, but he wanted both of them gone from the story indefinitely. He had Kawaki seal Naruto and Hinata, and Sasuke, well, he was turned into a tree. Now at this point, it wasn't really as bad as during the Ishiki fight, because when this happened right here, most people already recognize Boruto as the one and only protagonist of the story. The series as a whole was able to stand on its own legs and not depend on the presence of Naruto and Sasuke to carry some of the load. So it was time for them to go and have Boruto's story play out in full. And most people don't really get that. That's exactly why Kurama was brought back into the story. But this time, he was housed inside of Himawari. Ikimoto never intended to kill Kurama off. He sees Kurama as a great character that can add value into the story, which is why he felt like it was best that his power was inherited by Himawari. Kurama just had to take the fall to reduce Naruto's role, because with him, he would just be too much of a factor in the story to be forgotten. Going back to Ishiki, right? Once Ikimoto decided that Ishiki wouldn't be a long-lasting villain in the series, he had to find a way to kill him off. The only problem was that Boruto and Kawaki at the time were nowhere near strong enough to deal with him, because of how strong the story already established him to be. So the only real way was to give one of the already established characters like Naruto a major power-up, that being Baryon mode. But that mode was simply too damn powerful to keep in the story. Like, if Naruto was able to keep Kurama, as well as this power right here, I believe that would take some attention off Boruto and his growth, just because Naruto's presence still outweighs Boruto's. Even if he couldn't access this power anymore, it still doesn't help the series progress the way Ikimoto planned for it to. The only way for the plot to move forward, like how it is now, and maybe for the future of Tubu Vortex, is for Naruto and Sasuke to be removed from the story like they are now. So with that being said, there is a lot of uproar in the community surrounding this very topic, but more so focused on Sasuke, because unlike Naruto, Sasuke has a better chance of being brought back into the story sooner rather than later. And this is just because his current circumstance is tied to the main plot of the story right now, meaning the Shinju. He's indirectly involved in the story more than Naruto, strictly because of Hidari. Remember, Boruto told Kawaki directly that retrieving Hidari's Thorn Soul will save Sasuke from his tree-like state. So the only thing that's standing in the way of a Sasuke comeback is Hidari's Thorn Soul. But even if he's reintroduced into the story, people still feel like he'll need a power-up if he's going to make any real noise in the story again. And the power-up I hear constantly is him just getting his Rinnegan back. Like I said, there's many hypotheticals when it comes to the return of Sasuke, but this is the most popular as well as the most likely. And this theory was heavily revived once a specific panel came up in chapter 24. In that panel is JURA being able to regenerate himself, as well as the Rinnegan that Kawaki destroyed using the root system that was spotted in the Shinju dimension. Now let's dissect this real quick. What is the root? Essentially, the root is the essence of the Shinju. It acts as a gateway for the Shinju to be born, heal themselves, and resurrect. So it has multiple uses that can benefit them. It acts as life itself for the Shinju. Now back in chapter 12, we see that Hidari was able to use the root to heal his injuries he sustained in battle against Boruto. The root replaced the cells and limbs that he lost, basically fully recovering him. Just keep that in mind. Every single time a Shinju is killed and gets resurrected, the chakra has to come from somewhere. So fast forward to chapter 24. JURA did the same thing that Hidari did, but he didn't have to go back to the Shinju dimension to heal himself. He summoned the root and healed instantly. And now thinking about it, that makes a lot of sense. JURA being the incarnation of the Ten Tails, he is the root. So this changes damn near everything. This makes destroying JURA that much trickier. The root is connected to everything via chakra. So that means everyone that was turned into a tree is connected to this root. But it doesn't function the same way as it does for JURA and the rest of the Shinju. Most humans that we see was turned into a tree has a Shinju counterpart, and this counterpart more or less has their abilities, as well as some similarities in their appearances. This was only possible through the user's chakra. The tree created a way for the Shinju to be born, and for them to each have their own unique identity, meaning the chakra used to create the Shinju have to be siphoned off from somewhere. And that somewhere is directly from the source, the human that's being used to create the Shinju. So I guess let's say that these trees are like mini divine trees, constantly siphoning all life out of its target until it's completely drained and dead. So once Hidari was killed and brought back to life, the chakra needed to resurrect him was drained from the source yet again. So this actually creates more urgency, because let's say Hidari is defeated but they failed to secure the Thorn Soul like before. If he's resurrected a third time, it can cause serious harm or even kill Sasuke. And even if Sasuke was somehow saved from his tree-like state, the healing properties of the root would not work on Sasuke because he's simply not of Shinju essence. His body is not composed the same of one neither, so it would be nearly impossible for that to be the case. So Sasuke's Rinnegan would still be lost, and even his left arm wouldn't be able to be replaced because his body isn't composed the same of a Shinju. So the way I see it, Sasuke can still return to the series, and in good health as well. But in regards to him getting a power-up and becoming a good playing card in this entire situation, the odds of that happening is extremely low. I mean, even without his Rinnegan, he's pretty dang strong. Despite his shortcomings, he was still able to take on Code without his limiters, as well as numerous of claw grinds, and he put up a well good enough fight. The goal for Ikimoto now is just to have Sarada take Sasuke's place as the strongest Uchiha. I mean, she already is. He wants everyone to view her in that same light as we all did for Sasuke. So besides Sasuke gaining power through the root, the only other option for him is to gain his power back through scientific means. So we have characters like Amato and Orochimaru to assist with that. But the likelihood of that becoming an option is very low as well. Sasuke seeking power through methods like this is not in his character. And I know that sounds really ironic, because if we're talking about a younger version of Sasuke, then he'd probably go through with something like this. He'd accept any means of gaining power if it meant killing Itachi or making his goals become a reality. But the Sasuke now isn't like that at all. He's more likely to rely on the upcoming generation for strength, because he understands the power in bonds and unity, which true power stems from. So in other words, no, Sasuke isn't going to be getting any crazy power in. Even if he was to return, the odds he's going to be doing anything like that is, again, extremely low. So the purpose of Ikimoto removing Naruto and Sasuke still stands. Even if they were to be reinstated back into the story, they wouldn't be a major focus like they were back in part 1. The story shifted its direction, just like Ikimoto planned from the jump. So these Naruto and Sasuke theories of them coming back and receiving major power amps that would allow them to compete with characters on the level of Boruto and higher can just start dying down slowly. Like I said, I do think Naruto and Sasuke are going to return at some point. Ikimoto can do it around now too. He accomplished what he wanted to do by removing them from the story. Boruto is cemented as a character that can stand on his own. But do I see a reason for them to return now? No, I do not. If they are going to return, I have a good feeling it's probably going to be towards the end of the series when things are wrapping up, maybe around the last 20 to 30 chapters. And I'm sorry to all the Naruto fans out there, it's likely we'll see Sasuke return before Naruto just because of their current circumstances. So I have a question for you guys. If there was a way for Naruto and Sasuke to be reinstated back into the story, how do you think Ikimoto would go about it? And if they are to be brought back, do you think they would get a power amp? How would they even get it? I guess I just want to hear all your thoughts. I'm really interested in what you all think about this. So before I end the video, be sure to drop a like, comment down all the possibilities from this video topic. Also subscribe if you enjoyed this video and wouldn't mind seeing more like this in the near future. And if you want, you can hit that noti bell so you don't miss another video like this. I do go live to go over chapter spoilers every month. So if you want to be a part of that, then there's another reason to turn them noties on. But anyway, until my next one, I'll see you boys and girls later. And I'm out. Peace.